I'm a person who believes that in times, the best of things are the simplest. Whether or not that comes down to just having some chicken and rice for dinner, or when it comes to the designs of games, movie, book covers, you get the point, I hope. I think a lot of things today we see lots of games, movies, and everything in between try and overdo things to a certain extent. For example, I feel like a lot of modern movies show way too much in their trailers at times, that I often feel like I've seen the whole movie within the minute and 20 seconds or however long the trailer is. The same can be said about games at times, but more so on the game covers. I feel there's just at times a lot of companies try to really overcomplicate things a lot when they don't really need to, or they put too much on a cover that really kind of spoils a lot of what is to come or what may happen. However, even I will admit at times it is kind of needed because you need to grab people's attention to your product. It's something you're trying to sell because you know what grabs your audience attention and you want that attention on said product. Or sometimes you just need to make your gameplay over the top because, well, the world we have built and it fits with what's going on. So we want to kind of overstimulate you to kind of get you, wow, this looks amazing. But in the midst of the chaos, there are times where outliers are thrown in. Gris is a testament that sometimes the simplest things about a game allow for everything else to shine. And in those moments, it really makes exploring this visually amazing world that tells a worthwhile story, an amazing experience in the most simplest of ways. And it has an outstanding message to show for it. If you have never played Gris, then if you are able to, please close this video and play the game for yourself, because it is well worth your time. But if you want to stick around, or maybe you think what I want to say will leave your mind when I guess a sale pops off and you go and purchase it, then here we go. Gris is a linear platformer game that has some upgrades along the way, but it does have some very fun and sometimes makes you think type of puzzles in the mix as well. You may have guessed that you play as a young lady named Gris. However, the story on this short and simple journey is one of hardship and dealing with grief. Now, to be kind of blunt about this, I am awful, or well, I wouldn't say awful, I'm not very good at platformers at all. I usually misjudge how far I need to jump to have the correct angle of my character to kind of make them fit into certain scenarios, or like jump points, or like if you have to angle yourself a certain way. I'm awful at it. Point simple. Safe to say, though, that I'm pretty bad at these games when it comes for me to play them. But Gris, I didn't mind having these issues. You see, the simple gameplay isn't something that I think hurts the game at all. In fact, I think it makes this game that much more enjoyable. There are times when I can't help but stare at the background of this game, because if you are watching this, then I'm sure you can see how breathtaking this world can look. And if you're just listening, then just think of a color palette night scene near an ocean where you can see all the stars in the night sky. It kind of gives off similar vibes as that. The world is breathtaking, and just walking through this place is a treat within itself. And what makes it even greater is the puzzles that follow along in the certain areas of the map. You see, there are 5 stages across this whole game. As followed, there are the desert, the forest, underwater, topsy-turvy, and an end stage. Each stage is more unique than the last, and each area not only comes with its own set of OST that I might add is very well done and put together, but a puzzle or puzzles that really fit the stage. For example, stage 4 is taking place underwater, which allows Gris to swim around with some cool fish buddies as she solves this place to move on. But the best part of these puzzles is the fact that her ability plays such a huge role in figuring out how to accomplish these challenges in front of us. Sometimes it's us turning into a box form to allow more weight on one side of the seesaw. Or maybe we need to use our jump and glide ability to reach a far off area. All of this and more makes these puzzles something fun to accomplish. However, there is an extra layer of puzzles in this game that makes this a little bit more. Again, this game doesn't really talk about it, but shows you that Gris is learning to deal with grief. And in case you don't know, grief is known to have 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now for these puzzles, it is more so trying to find the statues that represents them within the level they are in. For example, the underwater level we have mentioned, the fourth stage, which coexists with depression, is a statue of a person that is falling. Now, a real discussion real quick. We know that depression is and can be a very dark, lonely place. It's something that takes both a lot to overcome and to get through. But I think this depiction of how this level symbolizes depression in it is one of the more overlooked ways we see depression. Depression can feel like you are suffocating, and at times feels like we are falling with no end in sight. And the only way to beat it, or more so overcome it, is to keep swimming upwards to the surface so we can breathe once again. And the way the level both shows this, but also the way we exit the stage, is one of the really string on the heart moments in this whole game, for me at least. And again, like I said at the beginning, if you have the option or opportunity to play Gris, please do so. I really don't think you will not be disappointed when you play this game, from just one being a great simple game that has a lot of cool and fun stuff and a lot of cool mechanics, but has so much more than what the simple gameplay gives it. It is a game that has been able to capture both the message it wants to send to us, the players, while also just giving us an unforgettable experience. And also, before I forget too, there are other statues you can find within the game that represents the 5 stages of grief, each with their own design, but also, just like the underwater stage, the area you find them represents the statue that is being depicted, which I believe was both a nice touch, but also something very meaningful. Now, if you aren't watching this video and are just listening, just like I said, imagine a night sky by the ocean where you see all the stars in such a cool and calm color palette. If you are watching, however, you can tell, or well, I at least believe that you can tell, this game is one of the more beautiful games I have gotten to play from a visual standpoint. But there is a lot more to the design than what I think I give credit for. Originally, as you start the game, it's dark and gray, but as you get the first ability, some color comes back into the area, and this continues more and more as you continue the game. What starts off as a cold, dark place soon becomes a place that's alive and filled with color. Each time you come across a new area, you get a new color, and by the time it's time for the credits to roll, everything is basically night and day from start to finish. Also, I love this color style that it used. Each color represents the stage of grief you are in, but also what Gris is currently dealing with. Gris not only takes us on a journey of how she works through and still is working through their grief, but also allows us to connect to this character in a way that not many games are able to do so. Through the journey, we go through a simple game of solving puzzles, getting power-ups to solve said puzzles. We get to see this world in a vibrant way that captures the true feelings of being lost in your own feelings while dealing with hardship that many people may not understand. And through Gris, we see how hard it is to both continue forward, but how hard it is at times to be a human in itself. Losing loved ones, or at times just the feeling of being lost, is something we all experience at one point or another. But just like Gris, it may be a long and hard journey, and a journey of figuring things out within yourself. But at some point, you can do it. It may not be today, may not be tomorrow, and it may in fact not be within the year. But yet, someday, you will be able to breathe once more. Gris is a wonderful game that is well worth playing if you have the opportunity to do so. This is the end of the video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, before I sign off, there is a little detail I left out through this video because, again, I think everyone should at least give this game a shot if you are able to do so. Or, if not, just look up a playthrough, I guess. And the certain detail I left out is the person Gris is grieving over. Losing someone is hard in any shape or form, but for this game, it's the main focal point. So without spoiling that person, I think makes the reason for this journey that much more impactful, especially in certain areas of the game, but also if you could relate to it on a personal level. But if you kind of are on the fence about it, or if you have some trauma, please look up who the person is before you go into the game so you feel comfortable playing it. If you liked the video, maybe sub or leave a comment in regards to Gris, or maybe you have a different take than what I did, and I would love to hear it. Remember to get your steps in, check your posture, drink your water, and always remember you're important. Until the next one, I will see you all later.